Talking with Quinn. Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Talking with Quinn. Of course, I'm your host, The Quinn, and I'm back with another inspirational interview for you. Today's guest is from Pakistan. He is a tech enthusiast, web developer, a gold medalist, among so many other things. And with all these achievements, you'll be surprised to know that yes, he is visually impaired. So get your popcorn, sit back, and relax as he shares his story with us today. Be sure to watch until the end of the video to hear his answer to the bonus question of the day. The question is, Android or iOS, and why? Also, stay tuned for his word of advice at the end of our talk. But before I bring on our guest, please be sure to like the video and share it to others around the world so that they can be inspired as well. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Also note that the instrumentals for this video have been provided by InnerSanctum Entertainment Ltd. Now, without further ado, here is the man of the hour. Everybody give a big round of applause and welcome Waqas Ramzan. Now, let's get the ball rolling by first introducing yourself to our lovely audience.
First of all, I would like to say thank you for inviting me today on this wonderful platform, wonderful channel of the YouTube. I am honored to be as a guest talking about myself. This is Waqas Ramzan, as mentioned, and I am currently working as an IT executive at Planet Project, and moreover, I am also serving as a member in the Global Shapers Community Islamabad Hub. And when we come to the studies, I am doing BS area studies with the concentration on China specifically, and it's been almost 2 years since this degree program has started, and 2 more years to go before we complete it. And other than that, my experience and skill set is all about, mostly about web development and all those stuff related to the websites and portals and whatnot. And I am you can say an enthusiastic techie type of a person who loves to be solving the problems with the help of the technology.
Awesome, and I'm sure the listeners would love to know more about your story in greater detail. First, tell us about some of your greatest achievements.
Okay, so talking about the achievements, there might be many smaller of them, but I would like to just talk about the biggest one that I have. It is in 2019. I participated in a global IT challenge. It is basically an international IT-based competition where we have many challenges, some individual, some group competitions, and all those. And more than 20 countries participated. It was held in the Busan city of Korea, and it was a great experience. The best thing about this challenge, which can be considered as my achievement, is that I got one of those gold medals and the best challenges award for my country. And it was an honor for me to put my country on the global stage in the IT sector. So that was one of the biggest one.
Wow, what an inspiration for those of us in the blind community.
Thank you.
And as I mentioned your disability, please enlighten us as it relates to your level of visual impairment.
Okay, my level of visual impairment is mostly constant. It hasn't been changed much since my birth, and this makes it clear that I am visually impaired by birth. I'm not sure about the exact level or points or whatever it is, but I know for sure that I can see the big things in the sunlight. Big things I mean by buildings, the cars, the trees, and all those, even the boards and all those. I can even read the text when it's quite a big and in a bright light. So I have been studying also through like the normal method in the general education. I haven't pursued the special education system ever in my life. I did, but it was just for a few months. But most of the education, all of the education is through the sighted writing system. So this makes it clear that how well I can see, but it's only in the bright light not in the rooms or in the internal buildings.
All right, and most persons would think that having a disability would be an obstacle in achieving your goals. But I want you to tell the listeners how you excelled despite your disabilities.
Okay, I don't know why, but the word Excel reminded me of Microsoft Excel. And I was reading out the history, and it was also for the same meaning that this software will excel to all its competitors. So, keeping that aside about the question, I excelled because of my parents' support primarily, because it was it was a new experience for them, that how a visually challenged child can study, can do normal stuff, can live a better life. But my father was, since the very first day, he was very ambitious that this child will pursue or will live a lifestyle which will be inspiring for others one day. And he was keeping this in mind. He started putting in efforts, and both my parents, they like, since I mentioned I can see a bit, so for teaching me how to write and read, they did various things. One of them was, when I was very little child, even before school, they bought a big, like, a whiteboard as we see in the classrooms and schools. They bought it for me, and they put it like in a corridor which has got up a sunlight there. And then they then they put a big marker in my hands. They say, okay, this is the tool for you to write in, and they hold my hand and teach me how to write. So this was a way I learned reading and writing, and now I am fully into the reading and writing system. I can read when it's bright light. So this is one example of their magnificent support to me. Other than that, they have supported me to all aspects of my life, whether it's technology, whether it's daily life, whether it's going out to events or conferences, and even international conferences. They never hesitated. They said, just go and do your part, be what you want to be, and just do not care about anything else. So we are with you in all your steps of the life.
Yes, I love that. I realize that persons who are related or close to visually impaired persons don't realize how much their encouragement and motivation can impact our lives. Sometimes it just takes someone with a word of inspiration to push you to the next level.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And the parents are the primary, and then the other family, the siblings, and the friends and the teachers. Those are all the driving force behind all my success that I have done for now and will be doing in the coming future.
Great, and look where you are today. I remember that you said earlier that you were an IT executive. Tell us what exactly that role entails.
Okay, so about an IT executive, it may sound something different that I'm going to mention it right now because it is a specialized role according to the setup of the organization that I work for, the BHP, and it's basically the lead of the entire IT department, leading all the IT related affairs, whether it's a website, whether it's an internal IT support to the colleagues and the employees or the workers, and also to build up the internal system for providing for working in several ways, like maybe reporting system or whatnot. So it is basically a lead of all the IT related affairs in the organization.
Okay, so your career has a lot to do with web development. Tell us how blind and visually impaired persons can choose this as a career path, considering that websites have graphical and visual design works involved.
Okay, so yes, being a visually impaired, websites are challenging because websites has a lot to do with the graphics, and even the nowadays the advanced websites have the animations, have the sliders going on, and because they the website owners or the business owners would love their website to be well presented in the viewers' eyes, and so that they can get leads and they can get sales and they can engage the audience and whatnot. But for a visually impaired, these are all that we cannot work that much in that sector. But web is not all about the front end that people see on the website. it has a lot to do with the backend mechanisms or the coding of the website or the backend system which keeps the website running and functioning, most importantly, because the things that the users see is it's only the interface. But when users interacts with the website, whether it be a filling forms and survey, whether it be signing up for a system, opting in for a service, making payments, and choosing various products, if it's a e-commerce store, then sorting out the products, searching for the products. So all these interactions that user makes, these interactions are possible due to the back-end mechanism that the engineers have built for their website. So the visually impaired people can specifically do is all those back-end stuff, make the website function well and make the websites to be as interactive as possible. For example, on Facebook, it has a lot to do with the user interaction and user posting and all those. So the interface that we see and interact with is just a front end interface that the UI designers or the user experience designers build. But everything that is happening back end, when you post the content, where should it go, where should it store, to how should it delivers the notifications and all those, these can be included in the backend stuff, and that is a thing which visually impaired can do easily with the right skills and experience. So I hope it would be understandable for all our listeners and viewers that visually impaired can fit well in this role of web development.
Wow! And I am interested to know, out of all the career paths out there, why choose web development?
Well, that's a very fascinating question to me, and this has quite a lot to do with with some of my friends that were involved in the web development, and so that I get started with them, and this became my primary career. But I have tried many fields, including the blogging. Blogging is something which really fascinates me even up till now, and I have never left blogging. I do blogging occasionally in some way or the other, or sometimes I do not write articles myself. I just fix people's article when they're about to publish it, and I just fix their in all aspects it should look great. So even I have also tried the audio stuff, like the audio editing, but this web development was the most the web development career I chose because it was something which has directly to do with the people's life. Beside although every career does have, but this is something that builds solution for the people. This is something that solves some problems. You see, the Google is apparently a website, but what it does, it impacts the entire world, every individual life. So that is how what fascinates me most. That even if people would say nowadays it's all about apps, it's all about the mobile stuff, why don't you just shift in there? I would say web is something which is truly universal, that works from your good old style, like the Symbian Nokia phones, to the supercomputers as well. So web is something which does not depend on a particular operating system or a particular platform. It works anywhere unless the device or the platform supports the required technologies. So that's fascinates me the most, that it has to do with directly impacting the people's lives, solving out their problems, making their lives much better.
Cool. Maybe we could work on some accessible interfaces in the future.
That sounds awesome, and if we do it, it would even solve my personal problems, which occurs in many stages of the life.
But you mentioned earlier that you volunteer for a community called Global Shapers. Tell us more about it, its mission, and your role.
Okay, so Global Shapers community I have joined recently in this year, in the beginning of this year, and this community is, you can say, it is an initiative of the World Economic Forum, and it is as the name implies, it works on the global scale, and it has it works around in around 400 plus cities, and those cities, in all the cities which it has the presence, they call them their hubs. So the hub is basically for one city limited to one city, but it can go expanding depending on the circumstances. And what the mission is, and the mission is that the youth should be the driving force of all the world affairs, and it should have their part and contribution in the supporting their communities in all the decision making aspects and all those. So it basically does lots of projects which we can like, if we are a member of this community of any hub, what we can do, either contribute to existing projects depending on our skills and experiences, and even put in our own project that could solve the problem of a local community. For example, the cleaning water. So if we have found a way to provide the cleaning water to our city or some of the villages that don't have access to the cleaning waters, we can do with all our solutions and resources that we have. So this can be converted into a full-fledged project. And activities can be smaller ones. For example, a 3-day seminar or a workshop on awareness of the people with visual impairment can use technologies and all those. So that's how this community works. And for now, I have been assisting them in the projects in the technical aspects. I would love to initiate my own if the idea comes and fits in well with the criteria. So it is a very well developed platform, and it gives you lots of real life experiences and all those good stuff.
Ooh, very thoughtful and helpful. I see that you have a real passion for helping people and sharing your knowledge with them.
Yeah, thanks a lot, because the people matters most of anything else, because this world or the universe by the God is built for the people. So why not we also serve the people to make their life better?
That's great. And an interesting point for the listeners. Wakas also has a YouTube channel. Tell us more about your channel and the content that you post.
Okay, my YouTube channel, it has been recently started, maybe a month ago from this recording, and we can say that it is all about technology, and but a caution for our viewers that it is in the national language of Pakistan only, which is Urdu, and the content of the channel is mostly in a news bulletin style, where that your usual news bulletins on the televisions, on your web TVs are. Like, I would just turn on and I will say, okay, today's news are, and then the headlines and all those. So my news revolves all about technology, and technology in specifically the technological happenings in my country and sometimes around the world as well. So the main mission is to spread awareness about the technology and the various developments, and also to burst out the fake news and the myths about the technologies that happen, because the technology is something which impacts everybody, and it is a major part of their lifestyle, but they do not have mostly awareness about it, about some of the technical aspects. And because of this lack of awareness, they sometimes get into trouble, because either get scammed, or sometimes they get like, for example, the myths and the recently this WhatsApp issue, the privacy issues and all those. So I cover for them in a very simple language, so that they can get to know what's going on there.
Nice. And guys, even though you might not understand the language that Waka speaks on his YouTube channel, it wouldn't hurt to support him. A link to his channel will be down in the description below, where you can go ahead and subscribe and like some of his videos and share it with others that you might know that know the language. Can you please tell them the name of your channel? Spelling it, of course.
It is called Fanniyat TV, and it spells as FANNIYAT space TV. So this word is also the word from the Urdu language, and it means technology.
Now, I observed that your life mostly revolved around technology, but the educational program that you are pursuing tells otherwise. What is the reason or story behind opting for a completely different field of study?
Okay, so this is something which I would say a good observation on your side, and not many of the people realize when they look at my profile. So my educational program says it is a very BS area studies with a concentration on China, where we study all about China, its language, its culture, its people, its politics, its international relations, and its films, its musics and all those. So why not a technological field like an IT, like a software engineering, like a computer science? I definitely it was my primary aim to be enrolled in such fields, but the circumstances didn't allow me to do so. Here is the story. Since I get into the world of computers and technology, it was my aim to become a software engineer. But when I completed my high school and the college afterwards, in the college, even I opted in for a computer science subject as an additional ones. But when I moved toward the university's criteria said that if you want to be in any computer related field, whether it be IT, CS, or software, you have to have studied mathematics in your college and your school level. I have been studying mathematics up to my high school, but in the college I have never studied mathematics because I was so scared of it. And this was something that completely changed my life, and there was many dramatic scenes, I would say, in my university admissions. I even got admission in the software program at first, but after the higher authorities realized my data, so they said no, it's not possible for you to carry on there. So then there was a whole world of possibilities for me, but I have never thought of changing my field. But I don't know how. By the power of God and all the support that I had, without even worrying, I just said, okay, I will change my field. And with the help of my friends, which were already on the area studies department, they said our department is very good. It's new and it has a very bright future when it comes to the scope and all those. So I said, okay, I just researched about it in one night and I decided that this is going to be my field. And up till now, I have been doing magnificently in all the marks related affairs.
Very interesting.
Yeah, indeed. But because many of the people ask me, okay, this is not for you, why are you doing it? I said, this is a God's plan, so why not go for it?
Exactly. We should always go for God's plan. You referred to some events or conferences that you attended. Tell us a bit more about them.
Okay, so one of them I just mentioned, the Global IT Challenge, and others. Some are like I have even participated in a MUN, or people call it the Model United Nations. One of them, it was in my city, the capital of our country, and it was a great experience. The topic was the peace and stability, and the some subtopics were about the foreign policy of our country, and so it was a great experience. It was a 2 or 3 days event. I learned many things new. It was like a debating kind of a platform. For those who don't know what the MUN is, it's basically a platform where they make a whole model of a United Nations itself, and then they have all the committees or all the rooms, such as the you can say the General Assembly, and even those United Nations, the women sector, and all those that I'm forgetting the names of. And they make all the debates about the relevant topics, and they can even have the they can imagine a crisis going on, and they can then the cross committee decisions are made where we all come together. Each participant is a representative of one country that they take, and then they research about it, and then they present the point of view of that specific country in the debates and in all the sessions. So it was a great experience. And other than that, some of them that have attended was a web developer related conference about the Drupal CMS that I love and work for a lot. This is the CMS that has been a driving force for my first making the web development career as the primary one. And other than that, I have been some of the virtual conferences are like the NVDA conferences, both the international and some locals, and much more like quick seminars as well. So these are the events that I feel that a visually impaired should not refrain themselves to the computers and to the social media only. They should fully participate in all those physical events going on around their city, around the town, and they should showcase themselves to the community that they have some capabilities. Because if you don't come out, if you don't present yourself to the world won't recognize your abilities.
And that's definitely true. And I'm guessing that the outreach is kind of limited because of the restrictions resulting from the pandemic.
Yes, indeed. Whenever you find a possibility that sometimes, even beside the lockdowns, in some of the places like the open air events are still open, where you can instead of the conference halls, they do it in a ground, which is cool as well. So you go and participate, show the world what you can do.
All right. So as we're winding down, tell the listeners what's next for you.
Okay, next up, first of all, to in any way possible complete my degree program, and it is my goal that before completing my degree program I should be getting a stable earning for myself, so that I can proceed my life further, the married life and all those. So I would like to do it. If I achieve it, it would be a big thing for me. And my career path would be related to web development primarily, but I would love to be an entrepreneur rather than working for somebody else or doing jobs around those. So let's see how the time goes and what the God has planned for me.
I like the sound of that. And possibly in the future, after I'm finished with my studies, we could work on some development projects.
Indeed, I have planned a startup for me, and did a little bit work on it, but for now not getting too much motivation to move it forward. But this is my plan to at least do it and complete it and launch it before skipping it altogether.
Ooh, a startup. Tell us a bit more about that launch.
Okay, if you're into revealing my secrets, okay, let's do it a little bit. It is a platform. It would be a platform for researchers. Basically, I have seen many young researchers when they research in their educational career. For example, the psychology department students are doing research on why people feel anxious and all those. And for example, the other department is doing this and that in their thesis and all those. So the methods that they use are very old. Like they make surveys and they just print it on the papers, distribute, then compile, then get those back and compile the results and all those. So whichever process they do with their research process, I would like to make it all digital, and I would like to also contribute towards their research by offering them services, maybe like improving the writing of the research paper or whatnot. So this is my plan, to facilitate all the young researchers out there and make their researches stand out, and to provide them a platform to showcase what they have done.
Nice. Once again, showing your passion for helping people.
Yeah, because I have seen many researchers struggling a lot, especially the visually impaired, and in general everybody else out there struggling a lot to even to find the relevant persons to put their surveys in front of them. And I would say if there is a platform, there would be a large number of audience. So why not? They can just put in their survey and people will be willing to fill it up.
Yes, and we also see that there's a severe shortage of employment opportunities for blind and visually impaired persons. This is happening all around the world. What solution do you suggest should be applied, and what do you recommend for our listeners?
Okay, so as I mentioned, the biggest solution to the lack of employment is to generate entrepreneurial startups, to generate new platforms, to generate new businesses. Not even if you're not into launching a platform or launching something, you can do business, and sometimes with a little investment it gets started, and it can scale up to the heights where you can provide jobs to tens of hundreds of people. So I'm sure nowadays the degree program that people are pursuing are very dynamic. And even the degree program keep aside, the skills and experiences that the people are having, especially the visually impaired people, are very dynamic and very vast in their capacity when we compare to what people had like a few decades ago, or like 2 or 3 decades ago. So nowadays people have the capability, but we normally, including myself, we normally do not recognize our capabilities. So why not just keep all those jobs and aside, rather than seeking for job, create jobs, help people out.
Wow, very inspiring. Now it's time for our bonus question. I am sure the listeners can't wait to hear your answer to this one. So the bonus question of the day is Android or iOS, and why?
This is something that is a long debate, or sometimes it gets heated a lot too. And I don't want to put in myself in a position where I support one platform and the other platform people just shoot me up. So the I'm scared of them. So when it comes to Android and iOS, it's all about their capabilities and all about their performance, and all about the the best of all, the people's own preferences, what they prefer, what they need a phone for. First, you need to ask your question that you need a phone for just calling, texting, socializing, and communication, and just a little bit of them. Then I would say iOS is a very stable platform for you, which would never disappoint you. And although I'm not an iOS user, but I have to admit iOS has done a magnificent or an awesome or a superb job when it comes to accessibility. And if you're kind of a person which would like to get your phone for, above all, aside the communication need and socialization, you want your phone to do much more, like maybe just run little servers inside your phone, just an example, or even just to go beyond, and you want your device to be completely yours, not somebody else's, rolling over your phone. You want it to customize the way you want it and customize to everything. Then Android is a platform for you, because Android is an open platform and it gives you many possibilities. There's no locks and barriers. If there are ways to break it, and even though there are ways to break the jail of the iOS as well, but it's not the iOS is meant for the people who are a business kind of people, just need for communication, quick ways, no lack of response, because Android sometimes will disappoint you at some other point when it comes to efficiency and the speed or the performance issues because of your heavy usage and what you have done to your phone. But the iOS won't even let you do those things which would go damage to your phone. So how it can go the performance down?
I must admit, I love your answer. Now, one last thing before we go. Any last words for the listeners or any shout outs?
I would say shout out to my parents and all the family members, all the friends, all the teachers, and all those random people on the streets who supported me in any way or the other. And other than that, my advice would be to adopt some good tech hygienes. What I mean by this, or I would say digital hygienes, what I mean by this is keep your devices and systems secure. Nowadays, hacking or the theft or the ransomware or the all those incidents are very common. It's like to every fourth or fifth person have been suffered due to these attacks. So never open up the random emails, never just know what you're doing when it comes to web browsing, when it comes to all those navigating around the digital world. Just know what step you are taking.
Well, that's it, guys, today for Talking with Quinn. Hopefully you guys liked this week's show and you were inspired. Remember to share the video with others and listen to a word from our sponsors.
If you need instrumentals, recording, mixing or mastering, maybe a music video, photo shoot or graphic designing, need bouncy castles, face painting, popcorn, cotton candy or characters for the kids? Want to do online or offline promotion, maybe both? Let's print your t-shirts and everything else. Here at InnerSanctum Entertainment Ltd, we got you covered. Reach us on FB and Instagram at InnerSanctum Entertainment Ltd, YouTube at InnerSanctum Entertainment, and Twitter at iSanctum Studios. Or call us at 1-868-338-4123. That's 1-868-338-4123.
I'll see you guys next time.